Whoa! This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
Frittata!
Welcome back to your favorite anime, Frittanga Plays. As you can see, I'm still stuck in the dirt. We're not at 90k subs yet, the magic number that's supposed to get me dug out of here. I just want to say, yes, I'm starving. Yes, I'm dehydrated. Yes, I'm quite possibly going to die. And I really need a bong rip. And thank you so much for eating that Taco Bell in front of me.
What the f is he saying, dude? I don't speak Taco Bell!
Tell you what, all right, look, if I provide you some Nintendo hate, can you feed me some of that through a straw? I don't want to end up like that guy that got stuck in a cave. I refuse to die stuck in a hole. My dream was to die, overdosed on the best drugs, in a bed surrounded by the hottest women. But instead, I'm going to die not even getting 90k subs. Anyway, whatever. Okay, it's my issue to deal with. I'll give you your Nintendo hate. Give me some of that Taco Bell. And don't forget to water me. The Nintendo Switch brick situation just got a whole lot worse. He said brick. Honestly, that would have probably been a lot more clickbaity of a title, and I should have gone with it. Either way, we discussed about how using the MIG switch can cause your Nintendo Switch 2 to permanently be cut off from using any sort of online services or connectivity, thus rendering the device completely useless. Something that I'm quite surprised is even legally allowed. You know this is going to end in a lawsuit one way or another. Nintendo is going to be taken to court for this eventually. After all, they are a do first, ask for forgiveness later type of company. Now, there are actually several reasons why this is bad. The obvious you already know, but there's a reason this is actually a lot worse than simply taking away your online features, and that is entirely how it affects the secondhand market. Because I don't know if Nintendo didn't think this through, but if you just go ahead and brick someone's Switch 2 indiscriminately for inserting like a MIG switch card, and you turn to permanently disabling the online features, that's not something that people are going to get a little prompt for when they boot up the system. Nor is anybody going to disclose that if they're malicious, which the majority of people are. So what does this mean? Well, it means that people who have purchased a Switch 2 secondhand have a chance of receiving one that has been bricked by Nintendo, and they won't know by the time it is too late. Which is exactly what I had predicted would happen, because I know retailers, if there is an influx of products being returned, not a single rep is going to have enough time to test them all. A local mom and pop game shop, yeah, they probably will test the device to ensure everything works as it should. But Best Buys, Walmarts, Targets, they're gonna take your package, they're gonna put it right back in stock, and a lot of people are gonna get screwed over. Your average retail rep is not going to open up every little thing and test it, especially when it comes to tech that they barely understand. You think a 50-year-old Walmart employee is gonna boot up a Switch 2 and know if it's working properly or not, especially in online connection? No, that's not gonna happen. And so we already have a few reported cases of said thing that I predicted would happen. Warning, as some people are returning bricked Switch 2 consoles after MIG cards. Nintendo recently took the decision to ban some Nintendo Switch 2 consoles after they were found to be running MIG cartridges. The ban means that you cannot access any of Nintendo Switch online functions on your Nintendo Switch 2 console. One person who thought he was receiving a good deal from a returned console at Walmart came home to find that his purchase had the infamous error code, meaning that its online functionality had been blocked. However, to the unknowing eyes at Walmart, the returned console seemed fine as it booted up, etc. Be very careful purchasing a second-hand Nintendo Switch 2 console, as it may have been banned from accessing Nintendo's online services.
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
Here's the funny thing to me is how many Nintendo fanboys do not consider this to be bricked. Like, oh, well, your online functions were taken away. Big deal. That doesn't mean the console's rendered useless. And you would be right, sort of, not really. You'd be half right if it wasn't for the fact that a hefty chunk of third-party games are game key cards, meaning that you need the internet to play a good chunk of Switch 2 games. No online function means you can't play what you purchased. I just don't understand how Nintendo is actually okay with that, because I'm pretty sure Nintendo isn't underestimating the stupidity of people who will think that their system is actually broken. In general, we wouldn't have a problem of people trying to insert MIG switch cards into their systems to play a lot of classic titles if Nintendo themselves would quit being lazy ass fucks who cheap out on their services and don't provide you a bigger list of GameCube, Wii, Game Boy Advance, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and NES games. Like, if you want to combat the popularity of emulation, Nintendo's first go-to option is to outright try and shut down multiple emulators instead of going and improving their own service, because that would require effort and money, something that they're not willing to do for you. And in spite of that, you still hand them over money for an incredibly sparse selection of classic titles that will cost you nothing to emulate at a higher quality and a selection that's just incomparable. Instead, Nintendo says, no, fuck you. Use our service. That is the only option. You try anything else? No online features for you. Brick Switch. What are you gonna do about it? Well, I guess I'm gonna go return it to Walmart and screw somebody else over because you didn't think that through, Nintendo. What's even worse about this ban from Nintendo is that even if you factory reset the device, it will permanently still, no matter what, not let you use a single online function, even if you try signing into another account. That's what makes this oversight a glaring issue, because it's something that assholes will clearly take advantage of. Nintendo's strict policy on MIG carts is creating a problem for secondhand Switch 2 buyers. I also want to point out to people that there's actually nothing wrong with buying secondhand. I've done it many times. The difference there is beforehand, if there's actually any defects with what you're purchasing, you can see it right away. In this case, Nintendo has created a permanent issue to its online capabilities, which you cannot notice with the naked eye at a glance. So if you're going to buy secondhand Switch 2, the best way I could recommend is purchasing it off a friend, family member, or a local mom and pop game shop. Hell, even maybe your local GameStop in a more quiet town probably actually does tests for these things. I'm not discouraging people from buying secondhand. I understand why some would. The first 2 Nintendo Switch ones that I bought were secondhand. My PS2 was secondhand, GameCube secondhand, DS is secondhand. The only thing I ever had that was brand new was the gaming PC I built. But even then, with a lot of my previous builds, I was oftentimes switching out components with some that I bought used, whether it be RAM, CPUs, fans. The problem created here, however, is that Nintendo has bricked their device in a unique way, which is permanently disabling its most required feature: online connectivity. Without it, you may as well not own the goddamn thing. It would be like having a smartphone with no online connectivity. It's stupid. It was clearly intentionally done by Nintendo, because it's not like you're buying a used Switch that has stick drift or sticky buttons or a scratched screen. You're buying something completely useless in a brand new shell. Something that you won't know is an issue until you take it home and you try connecting it online, which is a far bigger issue. As reported by Andrew Authority, at least one potential Switch 2 owner has shown up online to report that their console bought at a discount was actually bricked with the same error code message. Not ideal. More than not ideal. He's been outright scammed. As we can see here on the original Reddit post, been casually looking for a Switch 2. Today, I was driving between work sites and stopped at 2 different Walmarts. At the second one, I find a Mario Kart edition sitting in the case and couldn't believe my luck. Guy finally comes over to help get it out of the case, and we bring it up to the electronics counter. He tells me it is an open box return, so we open it to inspect. Physically, it's fine. Everything seems there. Notice that the Mario Kart code is scratched off. Naturally wonder if the original buyer redeemed the code and returned the system. They knocked $50 off the price, so I figured I'd roll the dice and at least have the hardware. Bought a Pro controller too while I was at it. Finally, after work, I get a chance to set it up. Quickly realize I need the super special micro SD card, and none of the half dozen in the house would work. Drive 10 minutes to Target and get one there and pick up a few other accessories as well. Get home and go to finish the setup. Quickly get error code 21244508. A quick Google search shows me I'm screwed. FML. Thankfully, my local Walmart accepted the return without any fuss, but still, I wish nothing but enthusiastic double gonorrhea to the low-life scum that did this.
You think this is funny?
Unfortunately for you, my friend, it takes 2 to tango in situations like this. hackers being penalized should not result in consumers being inconvenienced or outright screwed over. There's easily a better solution for this, but Nintendo chooses the hardest, most strict resort possible, and my best guess is because they want to intentionally create consumer doubt in the secondhand market, because that could result in people being less willing to purchase Nintendo Switch secondhand and instead just buying it brand new full price from Nintendo. And they also get to make it harder on quote-unquote pirates and quote-unquote hackers, so ultimately it's a win for them, which is why I say they should not be allowed to do this whatsoever. If they want to ban your account after multiple offenses, I think that's very reasonable and fair and in their right to do, but to brick a system you purchased? No, Nintendo should not have a right to do that. Nintendo's playing it smart though, I won't lie. They know exactly what to do to have full control of their platform. There's very understandable reasons why they would be very adamant against piracy, but they don't care how it gets done. If that results in full purchase devices being permanently bricked for people, oh well. What about if they return it to retailers and then retail screw over thousands of consumers? Shrug. Oh well, that's our solution. Oh well. If we don't resolve it, it actually solves a lot of our other problems. It's a win-win for us, Nintendo. Suck a dick. We own your device, not you. No matter how Nintendo sees it, this is their responsibility to get fixed and resolved. Not the consumers, not retail, Nintendo's. They need to figure out how to not have such a glaring issue to something like this. It's ridiculous. But again, like I said, perhaps that's why they put it there. It works in their favor long term, because it hurts secondhand market, it hurts pirates and hackers, and it encourages people to buy brand new from them instead. It's so obviously intentional. What's even funnier is Nintendo will say, oh, these are measures put in place to protect consumers. Yeah, you're really protecting consumers by ensuring bricked Nintendo Switch 2s can just make their way right back to the same retailers you shipped them to and be sold to other consumers. Now it's starting to make a lot more sense why Nintendo makes it so you cannot file a class action lawsuit against them, huh? It's all coming full circle now. They foresaw this. They knew what was gonna happen, and they did it anyway. And you purchased the device and encouraged them to continue being like this, but that's a different discussion. I've had enough scolding you. Now hand me my Taco Bell and hand me my water. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. Tune in Sundays, 12 p.m. Pacific time for some of the best streams on this platform. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Cortana!
Sucks ass.